Dodge TV studios with Terry Bell for today's community comment.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome everybody to Community Comments. Our guest today is Jake Flood, the Superintendent of the Columbus School District. Good morning, Jake.
Hey, good morning, Terry. Appreciate being here. I think the first time we've had the chance to be on air together. I've been on with Kevin before. Excited to talk about the great things happening in Columbus School District again.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're planning to have you on every month if that's okay with you.
We would love that.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, let's jump right into it. First of all, before we jump right into it, if you want to join the conversation, we'd like you to do that, especially if you live in the Columbus School District, if you have kids in Columbus schools. The number to call or text is 920-887-9595. You can also call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. Well, yes, and first of all, the school district has just got done kind of revamping its long-time strategic plan.
Yeah, so we're very excited to kind of start to unveil it, roll it out to the different stakeholders. In Columbus, we kind of use the term legacy priorities when we talk about strategic planning. And it's not to say there wasn't a strategic plan or strategic work happening before, but this process dates back to about 2016. It kind of lives in lore in Columbus history. There was a 3-day event. This was prior to my time, where kind of like the fish story, the number of people that were there grows. But it sounds like there was close to 100 people that sat down and they said, all right, it's 2016 right now. Let's look to 2030, approximately when our kindergartners will be graduating. And they worked through and they developed 6 priorities for the district to operate under. And really that drove the work of the district, for close to a decade. 2019, there was a review of them and it kind of resulted in some subcommittees and then some work that actually led to the building projects that happened in Columbus. When I arrived in 22-23, it was a great guide for me. But one of the pieces of feedback that I kept receiving was, all right, it's time to review these. Some of the work was done, and don't get me wrong, the priorities that were in place were awesome. And it set the district up for success, and it kind of catapulted it to success for close to a decade. So at that point, that's when we decided it was time to start to look at the priorities and go through a new process.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, 10 years out seems to be like a good time for that. So what did you learn? Did necessitate some major changes? Did you find you were doing some things that were pretty outdated after a decade?
I wouldn't necessarily say outdated, but what we did find was, as I mentioned, some of the work was completed, or it could be embedded into maybe some different areas. So originally we surveyed the community because that was one of the things that the original group had a great participation in, was the community, and that's why it was really successful. And the community said, yeah, it's time to probably do a revamp. So we kicked off a process last year. Last year we went through, I think, 6 in-person events, 6 virtual events, which, it's a different world and it was a different way for people to work and communicate, and then surveying. And we took all that different feedback to form our new priority areas. One of the pieces of feedback that we received was the goal was to make the priority areas maybe a little higher level than they previously were, but then put some goals to them. What we landed on, and we're very proud of, were these 5 different areas. The first being career, college, and life readiness.
Okay.
And it was interesting. One of the components to that conversation, talking about putting career first versus a lot of times you'll hear college first. Neither is right or wrong, but we want to be sure that not every kid is being pushed down the college route. There's a variety of options. The trades are a great option, military, no matter what it is. So that was intentional, and that came from the committee. The second being student value and belonging, talking about students feeling welcomed at school. The third, staff engagement. We have a wonderful staff we're very proud of. We want to attract and retain our high quality staff, making sure that their feedback comes to the district, and we're using their feedback. A connected community, also fantastic community, whether it's co-curriculars, donations, apprenticeships from businesses. We have a great community that supports us. And then last but not least, I don't want to say it's boring, but kind of boring in nature, but very important. Facilities and operations. I think when we look at it, we have to think K through 12 or 4K through 12. And additionally, we have to think about all different departments when you talk about a strategic plan. So we were proud to land on those 5 areas that feed into the mission and vision of the district.
I would like to talk more about those 5 areas in just a minute. We do need to take a quick break here. We'll be right back on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Prizes.
Thank you very much, Jake. We are talking with Columbus School Superintendent Jake Flood. If you have any questions or comments for Jake, we'd love for you to join the program. You can call or text 920-887-9595, or you can call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. And we're talking about updates to the Columbus School District's legacy priorities, and we touched on that a bit in the last segment. Let's get down to some details. So you're talking about the necessity for preparing kids for their futures after high school and trying to get away from the old college first model.
Right. So as we kind of went through, we developed those 5 different priority areas, and kind of the sequential plan that we had was, number 1, get the titles from the themes, right? The second part really was to form a common understanding. So we kind of wrote a definition from all the feedback, because when we review this work in 5 years, we want to be sure everybody's understanding how it was wrote. You know, it might change in 5 years, but that common definition part was important. The third part is specific goals. We want to write specific goals in all of the 5 areas to say, if we do nothing else, this is what we are going to work to accomplish. We are going to put resources towards these goals, whether it be time or money. So those are, those were the components. And then kind of the steps still to come are the action steps, and then the way we assess it. We'll have a summative assessment, but us also like check-ins. But really a huge part of this process was the goals.
Sure. So those goals are career, college, and life readiness is 1. 2 would be student value and belonging. 3 would be staff engagement. 4, connected community. And 5, facilities and operations. So let's start with career, college, and life readiness. What was it that the folks who were working on this felt, what are you doing now differently than you were before?
Right. As we identified, we put the 3-year and 4 to 10-year focus out there. So 2 different buckets. Mm-hmm. In the 3-year focus, what we are going to intentionally work on, and I wouldn't say that we weren't working on this in the past, but we're putting it on paper and we're putting it out to, obviously, the community. The first being strengthening early literacy foundational skills. I think research is pretty clear. The earlier that students can read and comprehend, the better that they are going to do in school and then probably beyond. So making sure that we have that foundation set up. I think a lot of times when you build these types of goals and priorities, it's easy to get stuck about thinking only high school. So this built in kind of that elementary component. Also in that first area, under the 3-year goal, was challenging all students at the correct academic level. We have some students that work at a very high level. There's some students that need a little bit more support. So being sure that all students are challenged. As we looked out to the 4 to 10-year mark, we want to make sure that every single graduate from the Columbus School District had the chance to earn an advanced credit, whether it be an AP credit or dual enrollment credit, or the opportunity to do some type of workplace experience, whether it be an internship or just like a license that they can earn or a credential that they can earn. But then last but not least, kind of building off of that career component, making sure as a district we're expanding the career pathways, the different programming that we can provide to prepare students for the next step. So those were kind of the 4 areas, or 2 in the first 3 years that we will focus on for sure, and 2 in the 4 to 10 years that we will focus on in career, college, and life readiness.
Okay. What is Columbus Schools doing differently these days in terms of student value and belonging?
Yeah, I think also the research shows pretty strongly that a student wants to feel welcome at school. We need to welcome students at school, create an environment that's appropriate. So in that 3-year, it's pretty simple. An environment where students feel welcome. If they feel welcomed, and that doesn't mean that we don't have high standards, but making sure that a student is connected to an adult or another student is very important to their success. Additionally, if there are barriers in place for students, what are we doing as a district to remove those barriers? How are we supporting, whether it be groups of students or individuals, to be successful in that? As we kind of look down into the 4 to 10-year mark, the goal is for those action steps or those goals in the 3-year to help our absenteeism rate, making sure that students are coming to school. I think it's a no-brainer when students are at school. They're more likely to learn versus if they're not. And that's a continuous challenge, being sure that we have students attending. And I think it's not just a Columbus challenge. I think it's across the state.
Well, what you just said reminded me of something I think I recall reading, is that attendance has been a bit of a challenge since the pandemic. It seems that perhaps the paradigm shifted there, at least in the minds of many. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, the numbers, the raw data that we have shows that it has been a struggle. Now it's on the rebound to an extent.
It's been a few years now, but those lingering effects seem to have lasted for a bit at least.
It takes a team too to do it. The teachers are very cognizant of who's in their class, who's not. The middle school is doing something really cool where they have an incentive program, but also a check program. If a kid's gone, just making a simple connection saying, hey, notice you weren't here yesterday. How can we help support you getting caught up? And we believe those action steps have helped at the middle school, and we're trying to replicate some of that at the different schools as well. But student absenteeism is an area that we will continue to work with, and we're going to do our best as a school district, but we need help. We need help at home. We need help in the community.
Another area is staff engagement. How are you, what are you doing to meet the needs of your employees?
I love our staff. Our staff does a great job. They're the ones that make everything, all the learning go, the success that we've been able to have over the last handful of years. Really, we want to foster an environment that staff is celebrated, making sure that they're celebrated and heard, making sure they have the opportunity to provide feedback. As we kind of look into the 4 to 10 year plan, is really making sure we have a system and the supports in place to attract and retain high quality staff. I think every organization, every school district would have the same objectives, but once again, being very intentional in our work and in our resources to be sure that we're focusing on that. Not to say that we don't have staff engagement. We have a very engaged staff the way it is, but making sure that there is an emphasis on that area.
What sorts of ideas are being put out there to do that?
Right. It first comes with teachers and staff members having a chance to be leaders. They have a chance to lead their grade levels teams, their departments. The second part is making sure that you're not just collecting feedback, but actually using the feedback for change and action. And once again, I think as I look across the buildings and the interaction with district office, I think our staff feel very comfortable talking collaboratively, but then also communicating and talking with administration. I think it's a very natural feel that we have. And on top of that, it doesn't hurt when, I bet you we have 10 to 15 staff members that have been with the district over 20 years. So the culture is developed and they lead.
That's fantastic. Coming up next, connected community. I'm guessing this means not just parents, but everyone in the district.
Right. We understand that we are a hub for the community. And whether it's access to our buildings, our buildings, especially this time of the year, are used nonstop. Partnerships, we get tremendous donations. Talk about support as far as, once again, internships and the ability to have our kids tour or work at certain places. Our community is extremely open and supportive of all of that. But I think the key that we identified in this, as a school district, we can't just be the recipient. We really honed in on that partnership. Both sides have to be receiving something out of a partnership, right? So that's really our goal with that.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And finally, facilities and operations. Are you? I mean, a lot of what's happening around Wisconsin is that keeping up, replacing or fixing up the older buildings, building new ones. I'm sure that's something that what's being looked at now differently than it has before.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, what we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years is bringing in technology into the facilities component of it. It used to be 2 standalone departments. It's more of an infrastructure department now. For us as a district, it's being sure that we're operating under both short-range and long-term plans. It's not, success isn't just happening by accident, and you're not just fixing something that breaks. You're being sure that you're proactive. In the next 3 years, one of the main focus that we have to have as a school district, we have an aging Columbus Middle School, and we need a time-bound plan for what's next for that building. Our elementary school was updated in the previous referendum. Additionally, our high school got a huge makeover as well. And the middle school is sitting there as an older building and a costly building. So we're looking at all of our different options of what we can do with that. and just making sure that we do it the right way and we don't jump into anything too quick and make bad decisions out of that, if that makes sense.
Is that a 3-year time frame? Do you know, like maybe 3 years from now, you'll know what it is you want to do to address that?
We have it written on paper. We are going to have a time-bound plan in 3 years.
Okay.
I don't think it's aggressive. I think it's a reasonable time period. I think the sooner the better, especially when you're talking about how this connects to facilities. When you have aging boilers and you have aging roofs and doors and things like that, you just have to be cognizant of that through the entire process. And in the end, you still have to make it an environment conducive for students to learn in, right?
Very good. We need to take a quick break for the news, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Of today's community comment.
Much, Jake, and welcome back to Community Comment. Our guest today is Columbus School Superintendent Jake Flood. If you have a question or a comment for Jake, we invite you to join the conversation. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595, or you can call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. Keeping kids safe at school is a huge priority right now, especially in this day and age that we live in. And you recently had an opportunity to kind of get a refresher on that.
Yeah, Terry. It's interesting. I always lead this off when I talk to our staff about this topic as well. It breaks my heart that we have to even talk about it, consider it. The fact of the matter is, I don't know any teacher that got into teaching because of school safety, because of the thrill of it, things like that. I kind of apologize for society as far as where we're at with that this is where our focus is. But with that being said, we have to put time, energy, and resources into it because we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared to keep our students and our staff safe if an event would happen.
Right. So we're talking about things like active shooter drills.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. We recently, the support that we get from our local police department, the support from fire, emergency management services, all of the surrounding counties, Dodge County, Columbia County, which we're in, and then Dane County as well, has provided support for school safety trainings. Each year we sit down and we do a roundtable. We did our roundtable last week as far as planning and coordinating if an event would happen in the Columbus School District. What do we have to be sure of? How will we handle it? So on and so forth. Within our district, we have a school safety team. That safety team writes our school safety plan and reviews it every year. That safety plan has been in place for probably 10 to 15 years already, but now you have to continue to revamp because over time we've learned more about how to respond, but then it also kind of goes into the reunification process and things like that. So it's a heavy topic, but one that we have to plan for. I just couldn't believe how impactful our conversation was last week. We understand a little bit better what each different entity would do. One of the entities that was there as well that I didn't mention was Prairie Ridge Hospital. They sent a representative. So we sit down and we just have a roundtable conversation, what a situation like that would mean for each group. And then it helps us coordinate and communicate a little bit better. And then we take it back to our school safety plan and adapt our school safety plan.
Did anything come up at that meeting that struck you as particularly new or novel?
All right, a couple of different things. Number one, being sure the different support that we would have within the reunification process if an event would occur. But the second part was just the logistical components to it. How can us as a school district help the hospital? If that would be the case. Additionally, what would the command post communication be with different entities in the school district? We have it distributed already where our district staff would go, and our communication within our district is easy. But when you start to pull many different entities, the different first responders, it's sometimes hard. But we've been just thrilled that they've been willing to always sit down and provide their expertise. Our local PD, Columbus Police Department, is always there to help. So it was just a really powerful event, and we just thank them for being a partner in that.
Mm-hmm, certainly. I know bus safety is something that's been taken up at the legislative level. Getting outside of the classroom and onto the buses, and it seems like there's some legislative solutions to some problems down the pike that have been coming up in recent years.
Yeah, I think excellent question and great segue because I forgot the bus company to mention they are part of all those conversations as well. Yeah. The bus is absolutely part of the classroom. I know some school districts have district-owned buses. Some districts like us contract out their services. But with that being said, we want to be sure that our kids are safe coming to and from school. I can imagine, especially when you think of our younger elementary kids, even into our high school kids, if they have a bad bus ride or if they're not feeling safe on the bus, that's going to impact their day as well. When they arrive at school. So making sure that we have open communication. As far as what we do with our bus company, we meet with them monthly to be sure that any concerns that we're receiving as a school district is addressed. But then they meet with us also for any adaptations. Of course, if the legislation comes down, we will be involved, and that probably changes our policy and our practices as well.
One of the bills I'm thinking of would address penalties for people who are not stopping for a stopped school bus when they're supposed to, the way they're supposed to. Do you see that as a growing concern in your school district?
All we ask is people to put down the phones and give our kids space. If our kids have that and our bus company has that extra 20 seconds, it's a lot safer. I can't say offhand that I've necessarily had any reports directly to me, but with that being said, I wouldn't be so naive to think it's not an issue because it's probably an issue. So we just ask everybody that's driving, just give the buses space and put the phones down.
Mm-hmm. Here we are in the middle of February. We should probably talk about what you do in the case of the event of snow days, school closings. We're talking about safety. That's how you help keep everybody safe, is keep them at home on inclement weather today. What sorts of things are happening along those lines?
Terry, when I first took the job, I thought this was going to be one of the cool parts of the job. Think about it as a kid growing up. You get to call, no school. How exciting that will be. And then as I got into it, I couldn't believe how much went into it and how much support as a district that any district has. The National Weather Service does an amazing job giving us updates on events. For example, if there's an event on a Friday, anticipate it or forecast it, they're probably giving us updates already on Tuesday. Additionally, anytime there is concern in weather, they provide a 3:45 a.m. Update. When it comes to school closings, it could be a variety of reasons. You're talking cold. Typically, we use that warning, that -30 benchmark as kind of our gauge. But then snow and ice is a little bit more difficult. And kind of that process that happens is we do our 3:45 a.m. Meeting. And then we start to, the county gives us an update. We start to use that information from the county on what the road reports look like and are the plows out, so on and so forth. And then we communicate with the bus company, how are they feeling about if it's cold, A, the bus starting, which we haven't had any problem, or B, just being able to transport all of our kids safely. And in the end, it's always a tough call. It's a worrisome call. Anytime we are certain and we can let families and parents plan the night before, we try to do that. But then the morning of, we typically try to make that call by 6 in the morning, or we have to make that call by 6 in the morning or shortly after. So there's a lot that goes into it. And like I said, typically we do kind of use that warning as a heavy guidance. I wouldn't necessarily, we have set rules, but we do have, pretty well-established guidance guidelines.
I imagine one of the things that complicates the decision is whether or not you're going to have to be pushing makeup days, and whether or not you're going to be pushing the end of the school year later if we were having a particularly bad winter.
We usually get that pressure from the seniors. No, more than anything. I think that's a very valid point. Typically, there is some time built into our calendar already. Going back to 22-23, we had a ton of days. It felt like it just hit us really hard. What's interesting about this particular year, we've been monitoring a lot, whether it's been cold or winter weather, basically from the start of December on. This week gave us a break, but we haven't necessarily had that many snow days. with that being said, we remind parents we typically seem to get 1 or 2 in March, and it's happened in April 1 or 2 years as well. So we hope that we're transitioning to better weather, but there's more to it than just simply, I guess, kind of looking outside and making the call, which I didn't know either.
Absolutely. We need to take one more quick break, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Your day.
Thank you so much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV. We're talking with Jake Flood, the Superintendent of Columbus Schools. If you have a question or a comment for Jake, we'd love for you to join the conversation. You can call or text 920-887-9595, or you can call the studio line at 885-4446. And Jake, when you join us, I know we like to spend the last segment talking about some of your favorite things happening around the district.
A little bit of Flood's favorites, kind of previewing what we have coming up and Please remember, not all inclusive. Follow our website or follow our social media. Talking about Columbus Elementary and Discovery Charter for anybody that has a 4K student in 2026, 2027. We have an open house coming up. The open house is at our 3 different sites. One of our site is at the actual elementary school, Columbus Preschool, and then St. Jerome's. Also, the daycares will be located at the elementary school. You know, if they're interested, okay, how does a half-day 4K work, and then my kid go into daycare. So all of that is just a casual open house, and that is 4:30 to 6 p.m. coming up on February 25th, I believe. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry, enrollment opens the 25th. The 24th is the actual event. Also, some great literacy-based things happening at the elementary school. Our great PTO is sponsoring the Readathon. Rumor is that some administrators, I'm not going to name names, might be getting pies in the face if the students reach a goal. Our students dig in and read towards some incentives.
What grade level is that?
All grade levels at the elementary. Okay. And then we have our very popular literacy night on March 4th, which is embedded in that. So pretty awesome. Columbus Middle School Family Bingo Night coming up on February 16th. Also, as far as co-curriculars, forensics, and wrestling, some big competitions coming up in early March. I know that sometimes the competitions get overlooked at the middle school level. So those 2 groups doing great things. At the high school, kind of co-curricular based. First off, an event that happened previously last week, an event called Stuff the Court happened. People got to bring stuffed animals in, and at halftime they throw it on the court. And it's our Interact group, which is one of our activity groups. They partner with Prairie Ridge. And then the stuffed animals go to the patients, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And then also coming up, Prairie Ridge is also partnering with our high school with Slam Dunk Stigma, which is a mental health awareness night. And then proceeds from the game and shirt sales will go towards mental health initiatives at the school. And then also shared with a wellness fund at the hospital. Last but not least, Salute to Service presentation of colors. Members of our local veterans group, law enforcement and fire, will be presenting the colors on February 26th for, I believe, a basketball game. And it's going to incorporate the 250th recognition of independence. So all great things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have just a few more minutes left. Maybe we can preview a little bit of what we'll be talking about next month.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of hot topics. First things first, we'll want to talk about the Columbus School District Endowment. The Columbus School District Endowment supports professional development for all of our staff, support staff and teaching staff. So their work is starting to kick off. And then also, I think it's a good time to have a conversation about AI in schools. What does it mean for schools? How do we regulate it? And it's for all entities, for staff and students. It's a hot topic, but I don't think it's one that we should necessarily shy away from.
Right, exactly. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of just exactly what the issues and the debate is happening at Columbus? I imagine it's the same as it is everywhere.
Well, absolutely. How are kids using it? Are they using it responsibly? Is there still student agency involved? Are students responsible for their own learning? And I think that is the most important thing, that students are still thinking. Are students checking? And the same be told for us as staff. How are we using it as well? So it's really the safe use. Once again, being sure that we're using it as a tool and not replacing our thinking. It's an ever-developing topic, but one that we have to teach about and not ignore and talk about.
Right. Yeah, it seems to be AI is here to stay. I know feelings about it are complicated, and rightly so. But is the emphasis, maybe is it better to, is it better to try to keep AI out of our lives? Is it better to learn how to use it responsibly and ethically, or is it up to teachers to sort of AI proof their curricula?
I think that there definitely needs to be fences. But on top of it, if we're truly getting our kids career, college, and life ready, going back, kind of circling back to our legacy priorities, we owe that to the students to at least have them prepared and understanding how to use it ethically and responsibly.
Very good. Well, we're just about out of time. We want to thank Jake Flood of the Columbus School District for joining us on Community Comment. On Monday, Kevin Haugen will be hosting the show on Monday. He'll be talking with Beaver Dam Mayor Bobby Mark about a lot of things, including the recommendations for the new fire station in Beaver Dam. That's will be a very interesting topic conversation. We hope you will join us. We want to thank you for joining us today on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.